people are very uncomfortable about talking about death. And I think this is something that we need to talk about more, because we are all going to die, whether we like it or not.
Yeah.
We don't know when that's going to happen, but we need to be open about sharing our thoughts and feelings around it. And we also need to be grateful for what we have. And practicing gratitude, journaling, is something that's really helped me a lot more in the last 2 or 3 years. I used to laugh at this, I used to laugh and think, oh, why do you want to journal and be grateful for stuff? But, that's one recipe for not dealing with your emotions, because you're not aware of what you've got around you. 9 times out of 10, you're in a better position than 70% or more of the population. So lean into that, but know when to ask for help as well. And especially men, like when my dad was going through this, I saw him cry once and it really shocked me, but it also made me think he actually has emotions. He can express his emotions. And my dad was born in 1932. So, people were that stoic, stiff upper lip, no showing emotions, but he went through a really hard time. And going back, if I could change that and talk to him more about how he felt at the time, like, how did you feel in that moment? It must have been really hard. It must have been, it was soul destroying. I mean, he said to me, he actually said to me when we got he picked me up in the car I had a job at John Lewis, believe it or not, on a Saturday. And I remember him picking me up in the car. And he said, your mum's got cancer, and he just did not say anything. He was quite serious, my dad, but he was just the way that he said it this time, and it was very, very grave. And I thought, oh, and then I get to the hospital, it drives me to the hospital, we go into the hospital, we see my mom, and suddenly seems a lot better than what she was when she'd had her first operation to remove the blood clot. They took part of the tumor away. They did a biopsy and they said it was cancer. But my dad, when he told me that news, I now know, because he told me once she passed away, he said, look, on that day, the neurologist told me that she wasn't going to make it. So, but it felt like that as well in his voice, because when I saw my mum in the hospital, she seemed quite back to her old self. She seemed a lot better. So, but he was dealing with that. He almost said, like, I want to throw myself off a bridge, not in those kind of words, but words to that effect. He was really couldn't believe what was happening. And the way that men dealt with their emotions, and some still do, is, he would go to the pub, he'd see his friends there, have a drink, probably wouldn't talk about it much, but that was the way of dealing with it, was not dealing with it, burying it under the carpet.